Hello, welcome back to the Mission Darts podcast, especially you new viewers and new listeners that have joined us. Welcome to you as well. And Matt, it's episode 75, and I've been waiting for this episode since the World Championship to pose a question to you. Episode 75, the number 75, something I saw in the World Championship, and it got me thinking, as you know I like to do. Somebody was on 3-2-1 and the other guy was on 75. And the guy on 75 went treble 17, which I can't really think of a better way of going, to be perfectly honest. He hit it, but then he went inside on double 12 and inside on double 6. And I think you know what I'm going to say. 12 darts later, the guy came down from 3-2-1 and won the leg while the guy was messing about on double 1. So my question to you would be, is there ever a reason where if you're on 75 and I'm on 3-2-1, you just simply hit three big numbers to leave your favourite double? Don't even entertain going for treble 17. You just go two single 20s and a 3, leaving yourself on 32, as opposed to leaving a mess, which this guy did and then lost the leg.
I think one of the biggest issues we've got with dart players is the overthinking. I think overthinking is a massive, massive thing in darts. I see it all the time with people when they're coming for coaching. I've experienced it many times myself, as has everybody who's ever picked up a dart. Certainly in a game of darts, you overthink a lot. I think that would be promoting overthinking in the sense that the priority of when you're playing a game of darts is to get down to 0 as fast as possible. And if you get to that point and go, right, I'm going to try you're now sort of playing to miss, or you're playing to not achieve the ultimate goal, which is different. It's kind of irrelevant what he's on. The only time it's relevant to me what he's on is if it affects the way I should be going for something. Like, should I be going for something to leave a finish rather than do I go about it a different way?
Yeah, don't forget last week I was very much for going for the 161 and you were very much for setting it up. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Should you be setting up your favourite double rather than going for the 75 or not?
I don't think you should ever go to the Oki without the intention of performing the best at that moment in time. And the best is taking out 75. So absolutely, you go up to take out the 75, you do it the way normal. Because otherwise, what you're doing is they're becoming very self-aware. And the idea is we want to shut off the conscious brain and just subconsciously play darts, which means we need the least amount of conscious thoughts going on at all times. And I think when you start becoming so self-aware that you start going, right, well, I don't really want it at the treble because then I don't like double 12 and the breakdown's not very good. So I'm okay in the single because then I can go up to tops. I think, when do you then switch back on again? Like, do we have the ability to turn ourselves on and off? We don't.
Yeah, well, as we know, some people don't have the ability to even know where they're up to in the leg, Matt. We've talked about that. So, yeah, probably not. Probably the least amount of thinking is better, isn't it? Just while we've got some new viewers on as well, just got me thinking, some people will be going, well, why wouldn't you go? You don't have to go 17s. Why wouldn't you go treble 13, double 18, for example? And that's because of the breakdown, isn't it? If you hit a single, you've still got 66. Yeah, sorry. If you hit the single, you then can't leave a double with another single. Whereas if you hit the 17, you can go 18 for tops. So, yeah, it was one that I was waiting to post it. As usual, we've got different views on it. I the more I thought about it, I actually thought you might say that you'd leave the 32 rather than make a mess and leave double 3. But you've actually said no, go for it. So there you go.
But if I saw you do that, I wouldn't see that as a positive. If I'm stood behind you, I see that as weakness. Because I say you're avoiding sections of the board here. Yeah. You're not confident that you can take that. So unless you have to, you're not going to go for it. So are you going to hit that under pressure? And it gives me that little bit of belief that, there's weakness here. There's frailties. He's not confident in going up to the top end of the board.
You led me perfectly there into a player that did used to go treble 16 on 80, if you remember. A certain Mervyn King almost always refused tops. Weirdly, when he did have to hit it, he'd sometimes hit it. So it was kind of like, hey, But yeah, he was a treble 16, and people used to say, well, that's not the right way, which it definitely isn't. I mean, there's no, I don't care how bad you are at tops.
I've played Mervyn King maybe 6 times, maybe 7, played him quite a lot. And anytime he was on tops, you had that in your mind. You're like, could be all right here. You felt more confident with it. And that's the last thing you want your opponent to do. You don't want your opponent to sit there feeling more confident. And I think what you do there is promote that. But I'm going to pause the darts chat for a second here, guys, because I've just thought of something that is very, very important. And I would like to say, Andy Cornwall, whether it's his New Year's resolution or not, in 2025, one of the things Andy Cornwall was terrible at was listening. Terrible. Not in 2026. No, Andy Cornwall is going to start listening. And last week, I ripped into him about the volume because he was leaning back, he was moving forward, he was all over the place. Today, you may notice that Andy Cornwall is a very consistent volume, and that's because he's listened and he's got a clip-on microphone today, guys. So your podcast experience should be a lot better.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I can't stop with the leaning in and leaning out because that's just something that I do, but it won't affect the sound because it's being picked up from the same place. So yeah, I listened to you, got my Rode mic out. The sound quality should be better going forwards. But while we did mention Mervyn King there, Matt, that leads us on nicely to he's back on tour. Who saw that coming?
Do you know what? I think we learned a lot in that interview. And I think we learned, like, if you had said to Mervyn King 4 years ago, when he was playing on the tour, you'll go to Q School and win your card, it'd be like, I don't even want to go. I'm not going to Q School. Q School's rubbish. Q School. And he would have almost been. But now, I think what we're seeing is the appreciation for something that you have, and you don't appreciate what you've got till it's gone. That was the message I got right there. Because Mervyn King's been around the sport for 30 odd years at the top of the game. And we saw an appreciation that is going to go to the rankings again with £0, 0 pence. But he's got a 2-year tour card and he appreciated it so much, where he took a tour card for granted before. And I think what we saw from that wasn't we're watching Mervyn King. To me, that should have been an inspirational moment to us all to say, you don't know what you've got right now. And if it went, how much would you appreciate to have it back? How much would it mean? Mervyn King was getting grumpy on the tour. Mervyn King was almost becoming a bit bitter with the tour. Now it's brought him to tears just because he's got a tour card again. So just take stock of that in your own lives as well, would be what I'd say. What is that thing that you actually feels a bit of a burden? But I guarantee you, if it was gone, you'd miss it and you'd want it. And Mervyn King was a prime example of that, and he's shown us that in that interview.
Yeah, I think it's as much a life lesson as anything else, is that, Matt. You don't realize what you've got until you're missing it. You're absolutely right. My interesting kind of point with it is he good enough to get back in that 64? I don't know. We'll find out. He's certainly, the last couple of times I saw him, I didn't think he was. I think as well, a lot of that emotion was probably, what am I going to do if I don't get one? You know, I'm not involved in commentary. I don't coach. What am I? He's not that old. I'm guessing he's my age or slightly younger, possibly. I'd be guessing sort of early 50s. And maybe it was a kind of, what do I do next? Don't forget, he's recently had his tax issues. You know,
Mervyn King's 59.
Well, he's 59. Wow. So maybe he's got that tax issue still ongoing. Maybe he's got some, and he's thinking, well, how am I going to earn that money that I need? I mean, we don't know. We're speculating. But certainly there was a lot of emotion.
Correctly then. Or not, no, I'm not going to say correctly is the wrong word. I'll scrub that before Darts News and the Sun jump in and clip that. So
let's get the helmet.
Yeah. Right. I know most dart players. How many of them have planned years ahead? I know who has, But how many of them have planned that far ahead to the point where they have pensions? They have these different things. Now with Mervyn King, we can assume that if there was issues in regards to tax filing, we can assume that there's probably not that much planning gone into things like pensions, which means he becomes a worker for a lot longer, that the retirement age changes and moves further away. Is Mervyn King selling a lot of darts right now? He's not seen on TV that much, and that we know is something that helps promote sales. He's not
always had an
big on
unusual
social
dart,
media.
Matt.
Yeah, it's not the most marketable of darts
No.
because it's not something people would traditionally use. Mervyn King's dart, I believe he made originally out of wood, wasn't it? It was a woodcraft project.
Oh, okay.
And when he had dartitis, and the bobbly dart helped him get over dartitis. So a great story behind the dart, but a story behind the dart only works if there's a way to tell the story that people listen to. A great story can be written, but if no one reads it, it's, if a tree falls in the woods, isn't it? Like, does it make a sound? So it's that sort of thing. So I think here, I mean, Mervyn King had opportunities. He could have still continued playing on the Motor Super Series. He could have done it, but the amount of income that's available now on the PDC, £1,250 for a win, for one win. The sponsorship opportunities that come because of the potential access he's got to major tournaments. So I don't think this was last chance saloon, but I think he nearly said it, because when he was in tears, he went, "This is like a last chance," and then he quickly moved it to Q School. It's been a long, tricky time and all this, and I think in a way he believed that if he didn't get through Q School this year, he was pretty much done for.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. So fair play to him. He's got in there with a lot of young lads, and he's got through, and good luck to him for this year. One or two others that I want to mention: Charlie Manby. We weren't sure whether he was going to get a card, and has got a card. Had a lot of followers after the World Championship. Be very, very interesting to see how he goes this year, I think.
100%.
Stephen Burton, Mission Zone, lost his card. But haven't we said this quite a few times? And you're the perfect person to give this advice. The first time you go on tour, the second time you're a lot wiser, aren't you? You know where you're going. You know when to get there. You know what to expect. Could he, kick on from that? We've seen this happen before. We've seen players lose. Look, Nathan Aspinall lost his card. He seems to have done all right since, So, yeah, interesting to see Stephen back and see how he does. But I think talking points for me are more European. I'm looking forward to the return of Cristo Reyes. I don't really know why. I like him. I've always liked him. He was in the Worlds this year showing a bit of form. What a story that would be. That would almost be like Jose de Souza coming back and going in the top 10 or something. Do you know what I mean? It feels like Cristo's been away a long time. You probably know better than me. Did he have issues? Was the dartitis? Was the family? Was there something happened? Because he went from being on TV all the time to off the tour.
Fun fact for you, actually. Do you know who one of Cristo Reyes' last matches was on the Pro Tour?
You. Yeah. I kind of guessed that. I didn't know that, but I guess.
So on Players' Championship event in Barnsley, it was, I needed to make the quarterfinals to qualify for the majors at the back end of the year. And I drew Cristo Reyes in the third. So I drew Jelle Klassen, who was seeded at the time. Drew him in the first round. I beat him. Then I beat Martin Schindler. Third round was Cristo Reyes. And I beat Cristo Reyes. It was like a 95 average. I think I won like 6-1, 6-2. Good game. And then last 16, like a way I've turned this about me. Last 16, I needed to win that to qualify. And I beat Robbie Green 6-2, and I won the match with a 1-6-4 finish. 1-6-4 finish to win the match and qualify. And then played Benito van der Pas. There's a name for you. quarter-final.
Benito, Big Ben. It's, do you know what? Isn't it interesting? That story is interesting to me simply because everybody knows by now I was only on the tour 4 months. But in those days, the first 6 tournaments, I think, were all UK Open qualifiers because the UK Open started early February and you had to get, and it was well known at the time, you needed 1,500 quid. If you'd got 1,500 quid of a prize money, you got in. And after the first 5 events, I think I'd got 250 quid. And it was like, right, you're going to have to win your board and the next game in those days to get enough to get in. And I was new to the tour and wet behind the ears and everything else, but I actually did it. And that was my focus. My focus was, all right, I've got to win my board and the next game. As it happened, then I played Wes Newton, who played unbelievable, beat me, but it didn't matter. And you've kind of told the same story because you had a focus on where you needed to get to that day. It's almost like your inner self made it happen.
I did it so many times.
Yeah.
I did that so many times. So I only failed on that once where I needed a big run and it didn't happen. So I did it once in a qualifier. I needed to get to the quarterfinal to become seeded for the UK Open because I'd never wanted to qualify. I didn't want to be in the first round. I wanted to be seeded. I'd have at least round 2 or 3. I need to get to the quarterfinals, and I did. Lost 6-5 to Adrian Lewis. And there was one time it failed me, and that was 2021, I believe it was. The year I lost my tour card, then never went back. Now, that day, I needed to reach a semi-final. Right, so I need to reach a semi-final. Let me talk you through the day. What a day.
That's harsh.
Round 1, the seeded Martin Kleermacher.
Blimey.
Beat him. Second round, Robert Thornton. Beat him. Third round, Michael Smith. I think 2021 Michael Smith world champion.
Good God.
Beat Michael Smith. Last 16, Luke Humphries. Beat Luke Humphries in a last leg shootout on double 15. And I set up double 15. Like the shot before, I wanted it was something like a 170 or a 190 or whatever it was, and I left double 15 because I didn't want to switch off the treble 20. Whatever it was, the last start was on the treble 20, and I hit it to lead double 15.
It was probably 170, and you've hit a treble and a single, and then just stayed there and hit 140.
I think that might have been the case. Yeah, it was something like that. So then I beat Luke Humphries. Quarterfinals. If I'd have won this match, I'd have been in the Players' Championships at Minard. I'd have been in the World Championships. And I'd have kept my tour card. So 1 year tour card extension. Semi-final would have been another like $4,000 plus future earnings of about 12 grand minimum, all on one game against Michael van Gerwen. And and I lost it.
The rest is history. And how did you sleep that night?
Really well, actually. It was nice. Yeah.
Oh, was it? It was the relief of knowing what was going on.
The worst part about it all. And this is where I link it back to Stephen Burton, and I link it back to the story he was talking about. Because the worst part about it all is when you're in that position and you're defending and you're going, right, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. Stephen Burton now starts on 0. Everything, all the stories in front of him, not behind. And when you're in that position, you sit there looking behind. I weren't playing Michael van Gerwen in the quarterfinals. He was playing me in the quarterfinals. I was playing Michael van Gerwen in a World Championship qualifier final, in a Players' Championship final, in a tour card qualifying match. It wasn't just a quarterfinal for me. And that's the thing that these players have to deal with a lot. And did you know, I'll tell you a little bit of story actually about this. This is how housery Michael van Gerwen was. So he knew the situation, of course he did. And so it was 1-1. I was left on 167 or 161. It was one of those two shots. He wanted a dart of the ball, refused the dart of the ball, and hit Big 10 to leave tops. I take out the 161, right? Break the throw. The next leg, I set up 170. He does it again. Refuses the dart of the ball, right? I want 170. I go treble 20, wire the bullseye, right? And he goes up, takes it out. And I say to him, like, if I hit that, would you have done it again? Every time. Every time.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have cared that I took out the 160 and 170. He'd have kept setting up and just going, if you're good enough.
He's working on the odds, isn't he? Yeah, he's working on the odds, I guess, of how many times you're going to do that. But yeah, no, that's really interesting, mate. So another couple of interesting ones I wanted to chat about. A guy that has kind of come in and out of the limelight, almost seems like forever. Jeffrey Deswan's got a card back again. Now, I've rated him over the years, but is he playing all the events or what? Why can he not maintain his card? I find it very strange.
He's got issues, shoulder issue.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so he's
fair
inconsistent in regards to sometimes he's great, sometimes he's not. He's got a big problem with shoulder. Probably shouldn't be playing darts, to be honest. He probably needs to go get that sorted. But certainly can when he's on, he's on. Interesting little fact about Jeffrey Deswan.
Okay.
So when Jeffrey Deswan had his run to the semi-final of the World Match Play, in his case, he had one Haribo sour cherry in the case. And at one point, he'd eat Haribo sour cherry to the point where every time he's on the tour afterwards, and I don't know if he still does it now, but when he opened his case, he always had one Haribo sour cherry. Just one. Under his flights.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Knowing that, I'd have to nick it. When he put his case down, I'd have to nick it. He'd be like, "Where's it gone?"
Oh, I'll give you one. I'll give you one. I've got one for you. So I played Robert Thornton in the UK Open the year after he won it. So he's in the Premier League. It's the year after he's won it. So he's defending champion. So there's a bit of story on it, and I'm like ahead, by the way, and it's like 7-5 up as well. Like thinking, come on, I've got a big story. But yeah, I'm playing Robert Thornton. Now, before the game, I was approached by, I'm not going to say who, and offered £1,000 in cash. £1,000 in cash. If at some point during that game, if you know, Robert Thornton has a teddy bear, doesn't he, in his pocket, and he puts it on the table. I was offered £1,000 to take the teddy and dunk it in the water jug. Cash. To take the teddy player. And I went, no, right? That player then went, and then 3 people approached me, all offering me a cash amount to dunk that teddy in the water.
I love that.
These are the stories that you only get right here on the podcast, guys.
Yeah.
So that is why you need to get over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button, because you hear about water dunking and sugar sweets in cases. You don't get that on anyone else's podcast.
You certainly don't. And we could talk stories all day as we do when we're sat around a fire. But my last one then, Jimmy Van Ski. He's finally done it. He's got a card. What's your thoughts on him?
Before a dart was started, I think I might even said it on the podcast, that Jimmy Van Ski feels ready. And if it wasn't now, I don't think he ever would have got one. Or he might have got one, but he wouldn't have been a force. This was the time that Jimmy Van Ski could become a force and become a genuine threat within the PDC. I think if he would have waited another year, if it wouldn't have happened. Same for Shane McGurk. Yes. Shane McGurk is ready right now to go and become a little bit of a force and a threat on the tour. Any longer, they would not have been a threat or a force. So, yeah, absolutely. I think Tom Sykes is another one who I think could go on and do quite well. I do worry a little bit. And I'm hoping that we get to see with him what we saw in Cam Crabtree, that when he got his tour card, he stopped worrying about it and actually became a better player. But, yeah, it's one of those for Tom.
So who do you think's got the game? Of those players that I've named, who do you think's the biggest name there? The guy that's going to go and do it this year and make some inroads?
Well, logic says all these players have qualified from the amateur circuits. And the best amateur player right now, according to titles, is the man who has the World Masters and the World Championship of the amateur circuit. So that's Jimmy Van Ski. So I would say Jimmy Van Ski's got to be the most likely.
We'll leave the Q School chat with my final post question for you. At the end of this year, who's higher ranked, Jimmy Van Ski or Bo Greaves? This is taking some thought, hasn't it?
Yeah, just because I'm not convinced Bo Greaves plays everything.
Ah, okay.
But I'm going to go Bo Greaves on a technicality in the fact that they're not a fair match.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll leave that there.
Oh, no, wait. I thought you was going to follow me up then. I was teeing it up. Now, this is where I don't think it's a fair match. It's where it's not a fair match. Because Bo Greaves will go play the Women's Series, and off the back of that, we'll get in the Grand Slam and the World Championship. So she's already 20-odd grand ahead of Jimmy Vansky before Jimmy Vansky's thrown a dart. That's where I'll go Bo Greaves.
Yeah,
because she's guaranteed those.
It's not fair. That's not a fair system at all. It's really not. We've spoken about that before.
Now you can clap.
Thank you. Right, so I've got to say a big thank you. I've got to say a massive thank you. Not to you for once. It's normally you, but today it's not. So I was a bit under weather over the weekend, a bit fluey. I'm still coughing all night, to be honest. There's been loads of people listening and watching this now going, oh, I've had the same thing, been coughing for weeks. Just seems to be when you go to bed at night, you cough. Anyway, I cancelled a couple of precisions this week because it's absolutely rammed his precisions at the moment. I've gone in yesterday. The lad that's come, he knows I'm a little bit under the weather. He's only brought me this. He brought me a bottle of Jack Daniel's honey and gone, mate, get this down. You a bit of hot water, you'll be right in no time.
Looks like you took his advice there, yeah. You're really getting that down here, that full bottle with the seal still on, Andy. Well done.
Yeah, no, I haven't had any yet, but it's getting a go today. It is getting a go today. So thank you. He also said get some night nurse, so I went and got some of that. But thank you, Darren. Thanks very much for this. Much appreciated. That will be getting open tonight with some hot water. And we'll give that a go, see if I sleep better. So hopefully I'll wake up tomorrow because we've got a meeting. So if I'm not there, I drank too much of the Jack Daniel's honey.
What section are we in at the moment?
It's just other chat, really. It's
other chat, brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I love that. I want section are we in?
Just so I know what bit I should be talking about.
Okay.
I've got one that I want to speak to everyone almost in a blanket sense here. And I'm getting a lot of messages at the moment, which is fantastic. I try and respond to everybody. One of the things, if I haven't responded to you, please don't think I'm ignorant or rude. It's just that I'm getting, and I am not exaggerating this, 50 plus messages a day right now and I have different platforms, and sometimes it'll go to junk box, and then when you accept it, let's say you message me on Saturday and I accept it on Tuesday, it goes into Saturday on the primary box. So I miss things. And then I'll be responding to people, and then as I respond, other people pop up and they've replied back again. So then it skews them. So if I have missed you, first of all, I do apologize. I'm not being rude. I will try and get back to you, or if I miss it, I apologize. The other thing is, what I'm getting a lot of at the moment is people that listen to the podcast or know that I do coaching, know you do coaching, and they're sort of asking for some tips and advice. And what I will say is, a lot of the time, some of the questions I'm being asked, and I wanted to put this on here because you may be thinking, or you may approach somebody else in future about this. It's almost impossible to answer because I'll get questions like, I grip my dart at the front, I use a 32mm point. Why do my darts kick to the left? And it's like, it could be technical, it could be equipment, it could be posture, stance, alignment, it could be your release, it could be the grip, it could be the darts. There's so many different reasons as to why it is. And what I want to get across to you guys is, if you have sent someone a message like this and they've responded to you and give you an answer, please ignore it. Because you cannot give blind advice.
No.
What you'll find a lot of the time is, if someone responds to your messages like that and gives you a bit of advice, they are only applying their own personal experience to you. And that's their personal experience. That may be because their release was off. It may be because they're rotating the wrist. It may be because their alignment. It could be loads of different reasons to why it is. And they're telling you what was relevant to them and their own experience. And it might not be relevant to you. So you might change something. And I'm getting a lot of people right now who are just getting messed up because they're taking incorrect advice. So I always say, and if you have messaged me on this, you can vouch for this, I will always say it's impossible to advise blinds, anyone who's give you that any advice on this topic, please ignore it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. You're 100% right, and I get it as well. And I would say, look, anybody that's willing to give you coaching this week as well, why are they not busy? You know, it is that simple. If you're in the south or the central, go and see Matt. If you're in the north, come and see me. You might have to wait a couple of months, but it'll be worth it. But the fact is, you can't learn how to play darts just by watching videos. We do videos giving advice. It's not for everybody. You know, we say that in the videos. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you can't coach by text. It's just impossible. So you're absolutely right, Matt. Funnily enough, how you mentioned about emails and junk there, isn't it funny how in 2025 we've got all this AI and everything else, or in 2026, all this amazing stuff going on in the world, yet my computer still can't work out what's a junk message and what's not. So I'll get an advert from insurance in my inbox, but then somebody that's emailing me about coaching and is quite a personal email is in my junk. Like, how can it not work that out yet? Isn't it bizarre?
Yeah, it's awful. It's really hard because if someone takes the time out in their day to talk to me about the content of which we're making, and it means something to them that they're enjoying watching the content, they're enjoying watching it, and they take their time out to read. I hate when I'm not getting, and I know I'm missing loads, because sometimes I'll see it and I'm like, whoa, that came in like 3 weeks ago. Like, so I hate missing it, I really do. But at the moment, like, when I say it's gone crazy, like coaching wise, when you said that no one should be available right now, I am sold out January, February, and I'm doing 3-4 sessions a day at times.
Crazy.
March is nearly full. April's getting full. Like, and I've got about 40 people, maybe more, stacked up at the moment waiting for dates. It's crazy.
Prize money, Matt. Do you think it's like people have suddenly gone, do you know what? I can play a bit of darts. I fancy a bit of that 1 million quid. Do you know what I mean? Do you think something suddenly has made everybody go, I'm going to have a go at this? Because neither of us have ever seen the like of what's been going on this last 6 months, really. Something's got to be making people suddenly this keen.
It's not just us. Like, I spoke to Glenn Durant a couple of days ago before we went to Tenerife on holiday, and he said the same. He's like, it's just constant message, like looking for sessions. I don't think it's anything to do with the mainstream darts, though. I think this is to do with the cultural change, because in the past, what's happened is darts. You've gone down the local workingmen's club, you picked up whatever set of darts was behind the bar, and you played with them. And the person who gave you advice was Dave. Dave sat there with his orange cordial, gave you a little bit of advice. You know, the usual stuff. One up, one in. What, you want me to actively miss? Throw a dart to miss? What great advice that is, Dave. Well done. Take your time.
Dave always used to shout that out when you're on double one. Always shout it out. One up, one in, mate. One up, one in.
Always take your time. Oh, yeah, well, take my time, but you want me to walk to the board really slowly? That's going to make me better, isn't it? Now I'm taking me time, Dave. Look, this is going to make me hit it, isn't it? Like, brilliant.
Yeah, funny.
So
good, though,
I think we're getting a cultural change, and I think a lot of this, and you're going to love this, Andy, because a lot of people that come to me also draw upon golf, and they talk about golfs, and they talk about like golf pros, and I think what we've got at the moment now is almost an acceptance of the fees, because I've always said, like, and I've always gone, look, I'm not the cheapest, but if you want cheap, someone's going to do it for cheap. Like, you'll get cheap. Cheap's available if you want cheap, but normally you'll go to the cheap guy, then you'll come to me afterwards when you need to figure out what you're doing. That tends to be how it works. But nowadays what I'm getting is everyone going, Matt, you're too cheap. And I'm like, I thought I was expensive. Like, I thought I was, and everyone's like, no, you're too cheap. And I never mention my price. I normally do that privately. But I mentioned it on a live stream just this past week. And everyone's like, oh, Matt, we need, and I got loads of requests just because everyone's like, you're so cheap. And I'm like, so I think what now we're getting is people's acceptance. And the reason people are accepting to it, in my belief, is because the price of darts increasing. The gap between coaching and a new set of darts has shrunk because darts has come up and the gap between the two is less. Where in the past you'd go, do I want to go for some coaching or do I want to buy 4 sets of darts? Now
It's a great
it's,
point.
do I want to go for coaching or do I get 2 sets of darts? And actually, if I'm going to spend that much on darts, I want to make sure I'm doing things right.
It's a great point. And yes, this came up yesterday. Yesterday in the precision fitting. Precision fittings have been 250 for quite a long time. And at the beginning, people, 250 quid. Oh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And then they go, I get an hour of your time. Right. Okay. I get my darts included. I get a shirt. I get a goodie bag. All right. Okay. I can live with it. As of the last couple of months, I'm getting the same thing. So a guy yesterday who was fitted for Rodons, one of the new darts. Well, it comes, as you know, in a box with spare points and molded system, and it's 115 quid's worth of darts. So he's paid 250 for a fitting. He's had an hour of my time. He's got a set of Rodons. He's got a new dart shirt. He's got some goodies. There they are. Perfect. Yeah. All for 250. And he's gone, this is too cheap. This is way too cheap. No wonder it's booked up. No wonder I couldn't get in for 3 months. It's too cheap. So yeah, it's funny how the perception of people, that is a beautiful dart, by the way. It's not for you, it's the wrong shape for you, but I can throw it. But yeah, you can see you get 2 extra sets of points, you get 2 extra sets of molded vortex. It's just a brilliant thing. But you know, because a precision is any mission dart, whatever I fit you for is included. It could be a set of Rodons, it could be, you know, it could be anything. It could be Rebus, could be any price. I fit you for whatever is the correct dart. So the guy got those yesterday. He was like, oh my God, really? This is incredible. So yeah, I think the perception of price is changing. However, my favorite moment's coming up. Oh, have I got a rant for you this week? You're not going to believe this, and I don't think you'd have paid it. So,
right in car parks.
My daughter decided at the weekend she wanted takeaway. We've had Chinese. When she's at mine, and we normally have a Chinese or an Indian or something. She decided she wanted pizza this weekend. So I'll have a pizza. But I really struggle, even though I live next to a town and there's lots of pizza takeaways, I really struggle to get a decent one. So I said to her, if only, I'm not going to name the place, but if only the place that we go and sit in did takeaway. And I thought, I don't think they do. I've looked online, they do takeaway. Like, I've been going there for 10 years. I did not know they did takeaway. I'm like, they do takeaway. Our favorite pizza place where we go and sit in. Oh, Dad, please can we have pizza from there? Yeah, no problem at all. Right, okay. So I ring them up. I'm just checking you do takeaway. Yeah, you can order it on the phone. It'd be ready. We're not very busy. It'd be ready in 10 minutes. Oh, awesome. And it's like half a mile from my house. So we'll have a margarita pizza. And I had, I think they call it Lorraine or something. It's got a bit of prosciutto on and you know, fancy stuff. You know, I like that sort of stuff. So 2 pizzas, Matt. Normally, the places that we've been to, a margarita's about 6 quid and something is about 8 quid. She's about 14 quid, something like that. So I go to this place to pick up the pizza. I'm well excited because I know how good the pizzas are. We sit in there regular. I've picked up the 2 pizzas. They're about 10-inch pizzas, something like that. How much?
20 quid.
£28.50. I said, sorry? She said that it's £28.50. I said, just the 2 pizzas, right? You've not put anything else on. Yeah. The margarita's £13.50 and the one you've ordered is 15 quid. I'm like, well, last time I came and sat in, they were about 11 quid each. Oh, yeah, the prices have gone up. So it's the same price for takeaway as if I come and eat in the restaurant. Yeah. £28.50 I paid for 2 takeaway pizzas that I had to go and collect myself. That is ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. They were nice and I enjoyed them. But am I going to be in a hurry to reorder them at £28.50? I don't think so.
Who would have thought Andy's rant would be about being tight? Like that's
yeah. I was not impressed. But I'll do my second one and then you can have yours. My second one's darts related, and I could have kind of done this when we were talking about Q School, and I'm not happy about this, and I'm probably going to get clicked because it's somebody famous. You seen what AngryGinge said?
Yes.
He's going to Q School next year.
He said he might do.
He might go to Q School next year because he wants to. Not that he's got any chance of getting through. I've got no chance of getting through. I know I'm not good enough, but I want to go and get the experience. And this is the problem we were talking about last week. Because if everybody that can afford it starts doing this, oh, I might go. AngryGinge is going to be there. Oh, yeah, I think I've got 500 quid. I got it for Christmas. Yeah, I'll go. Let's go. Let's have a weekend trip to Q School. Next minute, there's 2,000 people at Q School. How do we stop it, Matt? This has got to stop. He's not a dart player. It's not a flipping jolly with your mates. You know, great guy. Well done on your social media success. Stay away from Q School. You're not good enough.
There's a couple of things I'll say on this. One, he has played a bit of darts. He just played a bit of darts, and he does play quite. The other thing is, what they've left out of that is, I've seen the video where he talks about it, and he says, if I practice 3 hours a day. So he's on about putting the time and the commitment into it to try and improve his game. He only averages about 55 at the minute. And he's on about if he puts the time and commitment, which I think is a great story. Like, how good can he get? And I think it'd put some eyes on it. But the other thing is, I mean, I don't really play that much right now. Like, you know how much I play. I'm not much of a player. I'll gatekeep it. Like, bring it on. Yeah. I'll have a game. Oh, yeah. And we'll see. Like, because I'm not ready for Q School. And if you can't get through me, you can't get through Q School. So
absolutely,
I'll put 500. Bring it on.
I'll put 500 quid of my own money up right now, and somebody can sponsor him for 500 quid, and we'll play.
I don't think he needs a sponsor for 500 quid. He's probably got it in his back
exactly.
Pocket. Like, but yeah.
So if he can't beat us, then
he's not like us. But I'll gatekeep that theory, and I'll do that next year. I'll do that in December next year, so he's got a year to practice. Because I'll need a year to practice as well. So I don't make it to myself. Much of a loss. Yeah,
mate. 10 minutes of practice and you'd be
there.
Enough.
You go.
So yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
That's your content done for the week. There you go. Hi guys.
Yeah,
like we sorted you out.
Yeah. 55-year-old Andy Cornwall says. Two old geezers on a weekly podcast have said they'll take on anybody. That's what it'll turn out as being. Next minute, Luke Humphries and Luke Littler are like, yeah, we'll have a go at that, lads.
500 quid, you say? No.
I'll tell you what, I will put up 500 quid if they want to have a game with us, because that'd be worth every penny.
Couple of things.
So, go on.
Going back to your actually, before we get off that one, I'd actually like to see it. I'm not going to lie. I think it'd be good. I think it'd be good for the game, and I think it'd be good for the game as well if he was to show some progression from where he is now to actually, because what it'll do is it'll show people that it's a potential avenue and it's an actual journey that can do. So I'm all for it, to be honest. I'm all for it. However, there's a couple of things you said there. So I had a similar story, a takeaway actually. So, yeah. So I rang them up last week and I went, hello, do you do takeaways? And they says, yeah. I says, oh, what's 7 takeaway 5?
Oh, dear God. Anybody listening to the podcast for the first time is like, do these two do cheesy jokes every week?
Oh, you wish. Not every week's a banger. Right. No, but I've got a rant of the week. It's for drivers.
Oh.
How many times, right? I'm approaching a junction. I'm coming to the junction, driving along. And then there's a car that's coming from the left-hand side. And they cut across my lane. How much harder is it just to go and go around? It'll take you one more second to drive a little bit further rather than cutting across the corner.
Yeah.
And then I'm driving up and they look at me as if I'm in the wrong for approaching the junction. No, you're cutting across my lane.
Yeah. Even though you're in your actual lane. Yeah. You're in your actual lane. They're looking at you like, you could have left me more space. Well,
your lane's over there.
Lane. Yeah.
You have a lane. There's loads of space. That space over there is for you. You don't need to cut across my lane. And it happens to me so much now. And it's like, I do believe this is the generation of the lazy person, which is what we're leaning towards, the land of convenience. But you sat down. Like, how much easier could it be? It's not. You just go a little bit further and go round. You don't have to go across the corner. But I've just saved half a second. And if I put all those together, I can watch another 5 seconds of TikTok. Grow up. Go round.
Like
Right. Ugh.
Matt, I've got a quiz for you. It's only 4 questions, but I've done a bit of research, and then we'll get to the comments, because I've got loads of comments and emails this week. People have been bang on it, and I've got pages and pages actually. Right, okay. So play along at home. Who did the first 100 plus TV average?
What sort of broadcast level are we talking here? Like live broadcast?
Yes,
because I believe the answers are very different.
Live broadcast World Championship. That's all I'm going to give you.
John Lowe.
First. No. If you're playing along at home, it was 1985, and it was Keith Deller. There you go. In the BDO 1985 World Championship. So that's an X. You got that one wrong. Okay. What was James Wade's original nickname?
I know this one.
Okay.
I actually know this one. He
Go
was
on.
009.
He was.
Yeah.
009. Well done.
A nickname he gave himself because he hit more 9 darters.
Yes, correct. Very, very good. If you're playing along at home, I don't know how many people will have got that, but well done to Matt. Okay, this one I think you should get quite quickly. But again, if you're playing along at home, good luck with this one. How many players, and who are they, have won the BDO and PDC World Championships?
There's not many. So you've got, I'm thinking off the top of my head 3, but I'll have a think, 2 seconds. Because you've got John Park, Barneveld and Taylor. Priestley makes 4. John Park, Barneveld, Taylor, Priestley. That might be a lot, actually. It might be 4.
You are correct, and you got the correct 4. Well done. Priestley's the one people do tend to forget.
Because he won the first one.
He did. Yeah. And the last one, it's probably a bit easy for you. It's one that if you'd asked me, I wouldn't have got it. But me asking you, you're going to get it straight away. Whose nickname is the Gladiator?
I think there's a couple of them, but I'm guessing you're going to guess Mark McGeaney.
Yes, Mark McGeaney. I didn't know of another one. So well done. 3 out of 4, 75%. Pretty good effort. As expected from Edgar. We'll be back with an Edgar quiz next week. Expect Andy to get about 10%. Right. I have pages and pages. I didn't actually. So when I get a comment or an email, I just print it out. And then when we get to do the podcast, I didn't realize I've printed out about 9 this week.
Oh, so I've got a comment I want to talk about.
Oh, good God. An extra one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to read it out to you here, Andy. And I want to know your thoughts. And then I'll give you mine. Okay. So it is from, you might even have it on there, from CM Drovenrick 8234. He put it on the podcast comments on YouTube.
No, I don't have him.
Okay. He's gone. If I may give a quick reality check about the glorification of what the PDC has allegedly done for the popularisation of darts. The News of the World Championships 1974 finals were held at Ali Pali, and 10,000 people attended. It was actually free admission. There were 125,000 entrants from around the world, and it took 9 months to get to the final. It was televised, and there is actually footage of it, and was won by Englishman Peter Chapman.
Okay.
Any thoughts?
Well, what's the question?
A reality check on the glorification of the PDC's work they've done for darts and that darts was always popular.
So pulling something out from 50 years ago is akin to, women were wearing miniskirts and blokes wore a suit for every job in the world. It's a different era. So yes, darts was popular then because lots of other sports weren't popular. But I think what he's missing is the bit in between, like where not a lot happened in darts. Plus, that was one event a year. So if you wanted to watch darts, that's your one chance. Now we're seeing arenas full every single Thursday night. So if you add up how many people now are watching darts now on a yearly basis versus that, plus it was free entry, plus there was not a lot of other stuff. It's as you always say, you can't compare eras.
Okay.
I just don't think you can.
My stance on that, and apologies, but I don't agree with any of it. Now, I agree that there is a lot of narrative spun at the moment that darts is in a better place than it's ever been. There's a narrative spun that the standard's better than it's ever been, and it doesn't always support that. Recency bias does kick in for sure. I'm very familiar with the news of the world because I don't think you can see it on this shop. But in the background here, in that cabinet, I have my granddad's trophies from the news of the world because he played at Alexandra Palace in the 1960s in the news of the world quarterfinals. And I've got all of his memorabilia from the 60s in there. So I'm very familiar with the news of the world. But you've answered it in your own comment. And Andy's picked up on it already. It was free admission. You can't compare 10,000 people turning up for free, as in sellouts, every single night of the World Championship with hundreds of thousands of people trying to get in, and secondary resale markets where tickets are going for thousands of pounds, comparing it to someone getting a free ticket. If I say to you now, we're going to give away £1,000 worth of darts, we will get more people turn up for that live stream than we will if we say we're going to do a dart stream. It's £10 a ticket and you might win some darts.
Yeah,
you're going to get two completely different things. The other thing is, back in the day of the news of the world, I know what they gave the prizes because I've got them here and I've got them at home in a very safe deposit. You got the thing I've got here is a silver tea salver. You're paying for £1 million, not a silver tea salver. You know, I've got gold and silver darts that they gave out to finalists and winners. A set of darts with feathers in them. You're playing for £1 million on a £5 million tournament. One tournament, £5 million. The broadcast, yes, they filmed it, but it wasn't like it had revenue, despite the fact that there was no real. Where was the sponsors that we now have? The commercialization of darts is what is talked about a lot, and that's where that doesn't compare. Because yes, the interest was there in the sport, but the interest in anything isn't always people willing to put their hand in their pocket. And what the PDC have been great at doing, and what's great for where darts is right now, is people more so than ever are willing to put their hand in their pocket and back this sport. Granted, put it on a free-to-watch channel, people do it. I can tell you for a fact, Sky subscriptions went up in the month of December for people taking a 1-month sports package so they could watch the World Championships. That is different to people watching the Players' Championship finals on free. Because
agree,
people
Matt.
are willing to pay.
Agree. Well said. Right, I'm going to do some sort of quick fire ones. Ivan, who's on every week, has offended me this week because Ivan said, this is a question for Matt. No, it's not, Ivan. I'm quite capable of answering it as well. But he said it's a question for Matt. With a possible 162 ways to finish, from 2 to 170, with the Premier League starting, what do you think the chances are of all 162 different finishes being achieved?
0.
Right. Yes, exactly. And also, which will be the most popular double that people finish on in the Premier League?
It's always tops or 16.
32.
It always is. Yeah.
So, but he said I couldn't answer that, Matt. I couldn't answer that.
Traditionally, it's a red double as well. Red doubles are more popular. Yeah. I believe the last stat I saw was 78% on red doubles, 22% on green.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, cool. Blimey, I can't even read. This is Go 6 PEH BKUU, all sorts of things. Right. I've heard that players could only have 4 sponsors on the front of the shirt, and one of those spots reserved for the tournament sponsor. But both Lukes have 5 sponsors on the front. How does this work?
I'm guessing one of them is Sky Sports, which overwrites the the rule. So the reason players are only allowed 4 sponsorship patches is to do with broadcasting, and it's to do with the broadcasting rules and regulations. When you're sponsored by the broadcaster, they can do what they want. So
Didn't you used to get an extra patch if you were world champion?
no,
Have I dreamt
again, that was because the broadcaster wanted to be on the world champion shirt.
Okay.
So on the right, you'll be talking on the right hand side of the player's shirt. It will go personalized sponsor, and then the chances are it's the broadcaster on the top, which will be Sky Sports.
I think you've answered this before. There are rules that players should have black pants and black footwear. There aren't really anymore, but many players like Wright, Evans, Chisnell wearing coloured pants and shoes. Why is it allowed for some but not for everyone?
Just for clarification, because me and Andy's had this confusion before, by pants, he means trousers. So he's not talking about Peter Wright's pants here. For me, pants are underwear, and that's not that podcast. So the rules are the same for everybody. Absolutely. There are times you can ask for dispensation to the rules. We've seen that in the past with different things. Barneveld, for example, being allowed to play in the seniors. But the rules around clothing are exactly the same for everybody.
Okay. This one's just a statement from Lee, Liasos. What annoys me about walk-ons like Bunting and Aspinall is that the players applaud the crowd as if to say, thanks for cheering me on. The crowd just want to sing a famous song. I think that nails what we've said for a few weeks.
Someone put in the comments about it, didn't they, about that as well? I saw you responded to it. And I think you responded to it like, well, if Bunting wasn't there, is the walk-on any different?
Yeah.
Do you know, I think you could genuinely close your eyes and you'll get the same reaction. Like if everyone was,
I agree. I think if you or I walked onto that song, the crowd wouldn't go, oh, it's Andy Cornwall, we're not singing. It's the song. They're singing the song. Right. The greatest name I've ever seen in the world has sent me an email. His name is Jim Jiggles. That's his name. Jim Jiggles. Jim Jiggles 262 at hotmail.com. Jim, oh, sorry, shouldn't have read out your email there. But anyway, actually, I didn't read it out correctly. But Jim, you've got the greatest name ever, so I'm definitely reading your question. He says, I have a question for Matt. What are the regulations in regards to the darts you can use? For example, I throw ruthless animal darts. I use one green dart, one purple one, and one red one. Would this be legal in the professional game, or do all 3 darts need to be the same?
Nope. So as long as your darts meet regulations, you can use whatever you want. You can use a different throw set every throw. You can use a different dart every dart. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
But what will happen is if there's any sort of question, query, or whatever, when you get to the tournament official, this is for like big major events as well, like you get to World Championships, you have to present things. You have to present your shirt for inspection to make sure that it meets the regulations, the broadcast, and everything's on there. You've not got things on you shouldn't have on your shirt. You've got to present your darts case. Your darts, are they the darts you're going to play the match with? Yep, okay, they're good to go. Have you got a second set? You have to show your darts to make sure that they do meet. So your shirt and your darts will be inspected, as will be your attire, before you're even allowed to get to the stage. So if you've got 7 different sets, as long as you all meet regulations, you can do whatever you want.
Happy days. Right, Alistair Baker's been on. Hi, Andy and Matt. New listener, loving the podcast, listens to it on his commute to work. His question is a simple one. During this Q school period, everybody talks about getting a tour card, but is there actually a physical card that you obtain?
The only time there's been a physical reward was in 2011 when the players got a belt buckle. Since 2011, there's been no physical reward for getting a tour card. It's a mythical thing. And I've spoke about this before, and I said there should be something given. For me, right, how hard would it be? You'll be able to price. I'm going to tell you my view here, Andy. You price it up because you know prices a lot better than this for me.
Yep.
We get 128 players, get one single dart. So we don't need 128 sets of darts. We just need enough to divide by 3. So you get a dart. Now that dart will be designed.
43.
So 43 sets of darts will get you this one dart that comes on a little stand that says PDC Tour Card Holder 2016. And you get a dart that will be a certain colour. And it'll be colour, it'll have nice grip on it, it'll have the PDC logo engraved into it, and a nice flight on top saying class of 2026 or something like that. And then every year they bring out a different dart that everyone just gets that individual dart that says, I was a tour card holder, that you can put on a display and you can have it there on shot. How much do you think that would cost to make?
£2,000. £2,000 for those 43 sets with a little stand.
Yeah.
Mm.
£2,000.
Yeah.
And members are
paying PDC can't afford it.
No,
PDC can't afford it.
This is where the confusion comes.
PDPA can't afford it.
Yes.
Yes.
But PDPA just took a massive pay rise because the 2% comes out all the time still. So, you know, and it's the PDPA that are getting the membership money from Q School because it's you're paying the PDPA membership fee. So why can't they just go? That's 4 entries. It's 4 members. £2,000, everyone's happy. They might not see it as a valuable thing now, but like for me, if I had all my tour cards,
it'd be lovely.
And people come up for a coaching session. Oh, that's all the years I was a professional player.
Yeah.
Now the only thing that they've got, it only exists up here.
Mm. Yeah.
And that to me, that's sad. To me, that shouldn't be the case. I should have, or it exists here in my own personal memorabilia.
Yeah.
Mementos of which I've kept over the time. And
I don't have anything. They didn't even have Darts Connect when I had my card, so I can't even look back on who I played and what my averages are or anything. I've literally you can Google and you can see that I had a tour card, but that's it. So I agree. I think that'd be great. I think that'd be a nice touch, Matt. I'm going to finish with this one.
And backdate
it. Matthew Wolford has been on. He wants to know our opinions on the format of the Premier League. He says, for me and lots of other people I know, we are so bored of the current format. He said he'd quite like years ago when they did the contender idea, but surely something could be changed to brighten it up. I agree. It is boring. Why can't they do something different? They've got 12 months to think about what shall we do next Premier League. Why continue with the format if people are saying they're getting bored of it? And I'm not hearing anybody go, oh, no, I love it. I love the current format. It said, don't ever change it. I'm not hearing that. So why don't they change it? And what would they change it to, Matt?
Do you want 2 answers again? You know, you get 2 from me.
Absolutely.
So, the desire to change it, who's asking for it to be changed? Is it the venues? Is it the fans that are selling out the arenas night after night?
It may be. They may buy a ticket either way, I guess.
Is it the sponsors? Is it the commercialization of the sport? Is it the broadcasters that are looking at viewing figures? None of those people are asking for the change.
No.
That's where the problem lies. Because until they want the change, it doesn't matter what Dave sat in the bar thinks, because he's not affecting the product.
But this is your favourite thing, Matt, because you always say just because something's doing well doesn't mean it can't be better.
Yes, I agree. Which then comes to, what hat do you look at this with? Do you look at this in the sense of we're looking at this as a competition, or is this a commercial entity? And you can't have the conversation from both aspects. It can't be both. You can't prioritize, right, we're going to have promotion, we're going to have relegation, we're going to have A weeks, B weeks, we're going to have this many players in, we're going to have this format. That can't be the priority if the priority is the commercial side. So it all depends what you want the most of. Like I said last week when you mentioned about certain people being in, and I said, well, you can't have a fan vote, because if you have a fan vote, then you can't pick the other ones on talent, because then you can't argue one more than the other. So this is that same sort of thing. If you want it to be more about the tournament, you've got to ignore some of the commercial aspects, because some of the things that are better for the tournament might not be as interesting, as commercial, or as sellable. For example, if we say, right, whoever finishes bottom relegated and can't play the Premier League, or they have the relegation like they used to have, where the bottom two halfway through were eliminated. What if Luke Littler's in the bottom two halfway through? And now you've got half the tournament going on without Luke Littler. All the venues, all the sponsors go, hang on a minute, we wanted Luke Littler.
Can I give you mine? Can I give you mine then?
Yep.
Mine, you start with 16 players, not 8. And you lose one every week. And it therefore becomes a league. I don't know any other league where you get to the end of the season and then the fourth player can still win it. Like the Premier, Man United don't finish fourth. Yeah, but Man United don't finish fourth in the Premier League and then go, oh, we still got a chance of winning this. No, you haven't. You finished fourth. It's a league. You've played for 20 weeks. It's a league. You finish fourth. We do a Premier League for 16 weeks. You finish fourth. You can still win it. So you start with 16, and then whoever plays whoever's bottom after each week, you're out. So you end up 4 weeks to go. There's 4 of you left, etc., etc.
I don't think it'd work for a couple of reasons. One, how do you play an 8-player bracket with 7 players? Or 6 players? Or 5 players?
Yeah.
The other problem,
the details, Matt. I haven't thought the details. I am not writing to Sky and the PDPA. I've not got it on paper yet.
5 weeks to go in the quarterfinals. We've got 1 game to get through to the 3 semi-final players. And the other problem is, go back to commercialisation. Luke Littler loses in a freak defeat on week 1, and now he's out for the rest of the Premier League. I guarantee the sponsors, the broadcasters, everyone's going to be like, hang on a minute, this format's terrible. We need Luke Littler in every week. Now he's in Barbados.
Yeah. Okay. But we shouldn't be that reliant on needing that. That feels like we need Luke Littler to win it again then.
It's not the fact of needing him to do that. And it's the fact of certain sponsors are involved because of him. Are Xbox involved because of anyone other than Luke Littler? How much interest do Xbox have if Luke Littler goes out in the first round?
I'd like to see. Look, it's an exhibition event. I'd like to see a Premier League where week 1, Ricky Evans gets a go. Week 2, Bo Grieve gets a go. Week 3, I don't know. Yeah, well, sort of. They sort of did somebody from that region, didn't we? Like, because you're in Newcastle, you get in. Because we're in Manchester, you get in. I'm thinking more players that I want to see, excitement that don't make the Premier League because perhaps they're not in the top 8 in the world, but would be great for one night only. Put Justin Hood in week 1 while he's got to where he got to. Put Bo Greaves in. Put Ricky Evans in. Put Cameron Menzies in. I don't know, but just make it more exciting. Are you excited after week 5 when you've seen the 8 players doing a knockout every week for week 6? You think, I can't wait for week 6. See them 8 players having a knockout again. Because I'm not. I'll watch the first 5 and then I'll be bored.
Is the Premier League aimed at us, though? That's the next point.
Maybe not.
Are we, the audience, that when they sit down and go, because we remember, darts isn't for everybody. Not every tournament is aimed at everybody. Is when they sit down with a whiteboard in Matchroom Towers, do they go, the hardcore fans like Matt and Andy, the Premier League's for them? We are not their audience. They know they'll catch us at times, but we are not their primary audience. For us, we've got the UK Open. We've got the Players' Championship finals. We've got the World Championships. We've got their events aimed at us. The Premier League's not aimed at us. We are not their target.
Fair enough. In which case, and we don't ask this a lot, Matt, get in the comments. Your fans that are listening to us, get in the comments. Should the Premier League change? And if so, what is your idea to make it better?
I've got a better question. And you can put it alongside that. At the bottom, I also want to know what your favourite tournament of the year is. Not to plant an idea in your head, but if my theory is correct, we're going to see a lot of people say the UK Open.
Which is the next major coming up. And again, we can talk about that till the cows come home. I think it's about time we had 4 majors. These are the 4 majors. Match play, UK Open, Worlds, and what's your 4th? Grand Slam? Grand Prix. Okay, those are your 4 majors. They carry more money, more ranking points than everything else. Let's bring it in line with other sports. Golf's got 4 majors. Tennis has got 5, I think, majors. Let's bring it in line with other sports. But that is for another day because we've given you an extra 10 minutes of us today. We're at 1:10, Matt. It seems to have gone in seconds yet again.
Keep
We'll be
dropping my
back next week. Matt's dropped his pen. Good time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.